shoulder to shoulder on those front lines. Brothers! Today we fight for all our brothers back home.
Commence primary ignition.
Welcome, all of you Ugnaughts and Jawas out there, and welcome back to Mando Talk. I am your host, as always, Caleb Keller, and this is yet again another week of doing Star Wars Vision spoilers, but man, do we have a jam-packed show to get to, and joining us, I mean, if you're over on YouTube, look at these goofballs, not goofballs, they look awesome. Rebel Scum Texan is joining us. What's up, man?
I'm doing fantastic, and I'm joined with prototype Boba Fett over here tonight.
Yeah,
he's no good to me dead.
Dude, that was beautiful. That was
we
beautiful.
we are back, and we are brothers. Anyway, that's enough of that.
Okay, fair enough. Well, listen,
that's all I had to say. We just thought we would throw you guys off.
Me and Jacob are completely thrown off. We feel unprepared. But Jacob, how are you doing?
No, first I want to say that was awesome. I love that.
Did it for you, buddy. Did it for you, buddy.
And what did you do to get that hat? Did you have to hunt down a Wookiee?
I did, unfortunately. Met up with my favorite Trandoshan, Bosk, and we went to this little remote island. Some Padawans died in the process, but I mean, I got me a Wookiee out of it. I'm just kidding. No, actually, my sister got that for me at Disney World about 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time
ago. And the helmet I bought with a stimulus check because I'm a responsible adult. But speaking of purchasing Star Wars things, this morning, I went to an estate sale. I got there a whole hour before the doors opened, and I bought 5 1999 Phantom Menace action figures still in the box.
Wow.
That's pretty slick.
Nice.
And they had a Jar Jar Binks with the little comlink reader thing, Caleb, like we've talked about before, still in the box.
That's awesome.
They had it marked for $140. I got it for $12.
Wow. That is impressive. That's a steal.
Do we still have that thing?
Oh,
it was
we
a
have
good
it.
Day.
We have it. We just don't have the what's it called that Qui-Gon uses? Comlink. There you go. We don't have it to play the audio anymore.
I think I have 2 of them somewhere at their house.
Yeah, right. And they still work.
Yeah, so I need to get a hold of one and just send it to you.
We have that bucket full of the little cards.
I kept all my Comlink little reader chips.
They're literally all in a box in my closet. So that's
he has
really
them
cool.
in his closet at home, which is fantastic for me.
That is pretty cool.
But anyway, just wanted to share that up front, and I'm just stoked that we've got our brothers back. I'm glad that Gavin and Jacob are both here again, and I know we're ready to talk news and Star Wars, but before we get into that, I want to hear from Jacob personally and see how Jacob's been doing.
Yeah, Jacob.
In terms of like this past week.
Oh yeah, just in the week.
It's been very tiring.
Oh, I feel that, man.
Yeah.
Hey, but at least we get to talk Star Wars now.
Yeah, and just hang out, talk about something we love.
Yeah, I do think that every single one of us here, and if you're here with us live, I'm assuming all of us love Star Wars, and shout out to Rural Farm Boy and Blue Harvest Bricks, who are both in the chat. We love to see you. We appreciate it. But yeah, we do have a ton of Star Wars stuff to get to, and without further ado, real quickly though, as always, some plugs. Follow us on social medias. I don't think I've made that plug in a hot minute. You know, we're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, at Mando Talk, on all of those things. But also, I believe DJ, I don't know if it was a private message, but I got a Discord notification today about those collectibles that you received. I don't know if it was just to me or to the whole clan, but regardless, I'll use that as a plug to say, hey, come check out our Discord because we share stuff like that.
Yes.
And that link is in the description for those of you that want to do that.
I would say we are very pro flaunt your Star Wars purchases in the Discord. I did it today. I mean, I know I can't be the only one who's done it up to this point, but yes, Discord, join us on Discord. Very active over there.
Yeah. And then last thing that I'll say then, I guess, is the YouTube, the Tube. Come check us out on that platform if you haven't already. Subscribe to us. We're super close to that 100 sub goal, and I can't wait to finally approach that goal. I think it'll be pretty incredible once we do, in fact, get to that number, and I think it's coming close. We just need your help. So share Mando Talk, spread the word, and we would greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right, with all of those plugs down and out of the way, we do, in fact, need to get to some Star Wars news before we get to talk about Visions. And the first bit of Star Wars news, if we're all locked, loaded, and ready to go, which I think we all are, is Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales. Let's not forget about this thing. This show, this special, if you will, is coming to Disney Plus tomorrow. And in this past week, they did release a brand new poster. And let me just real quickly read the synopsis for maybe those of you out there that are still unfamiliar about exactly what this is. Because let's be honest, the marketing for it hasn't been as key and important as other shows that they've put out there. But here's the synopsis for Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales. In Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales, Poe Dameron and BB-8 crash land on the lava world of Mustafar. They soon find themselves on a journey inside Darth Vader's castle, where they learn scary stories of the past and uncover a devious dark side plot. Now, the question that I have in our notes to consider is, obviously this is Lego Star Wars. It's not too serious. So with that in mind, how soon do we plan to catch this special? Let's start with DJ Foster himself. What do you got?
I personally will watch it day one. I'm one of the few people I feel like I've seen online who is a very vocal fan of Poe Dameron. I really think Poe Dameron's awesome. I like Poe Dameron, and the fact that he's kind of our central character to watch in this episode is going to be a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about it a little bit. I'm really looking forward to our kind of this potential what if type of scenario we're getting with Luke and Vader. And then a little bit more Kylo Ren's always good for me. So I'm really stoked about that. And I'm going to watch it day one.
Dude, I agree. I definitely plan on checking it out as soon as possible. Tomorrow is my plan. Gavin, what about you?
I mean, for me, it's always going back to whenever I was a kid. Me and my dad would watch those Yoda Chronicles.
Okay,
and
cool.
Those were some of the funniest shows in the entire world. I mean, to this day, we will laugh at every joke that is on them.
Are those on Disney Plus?
I don't know, but we have the discs. So I mean,
DVDs. Wow,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
So we'll watch those from time to time. But I mean, most of these are pretty good. The Christmas special with Rey and BB-8 was pretty good. So I mean, I'm expecting this to be pretty good too.
Okay, I think so too. I think it'll be lighthearted and fun. And like DJ said, I like the what if scenario that the trailer has been teasing recently. What about you, Jacob? How much has this even been on your radar?
I've never watched any of the Star Wars Lego.
Oh no!
Okay.
Things.
Hey,
before.
that's all good, man. You know, we got variety on the show. That's what makes us special. But do you want to see this though? Like, are you interested?
Are they good?
Oh, I love them.
They are. They're great. Yeah,
I love them.
Okay.
They're very
I'll give it a
clearly meant
watch.
for children.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. They're definitely targeted toward children, but people like us, I still think we can get some things out of it, especially when it's got stuff about dark side and scary stories and Mustafar, Darth Vader's castle, like all of that stuff gets me super excited. But I just wanted to real quickly kind of gauge where we were. You know, we are the Star Wars sweaties, the nerds, and I wanted to make sure that us as the sweaty and nerds were actually excited for this thing because, you know, not a lot of people have been at least discussing it because we have so much other good, gracious, good golly, good stuff to eat up right now. I'll just leave it at that. Any other thoughts on Lego Terrifying Tales?
No, but Sydney Casper is jumping in the chat saying she likes our mugs. We like our mugs too. Thank you.
Dude, I like them
Thanks for being here.
I like them too. Okay, next up on the news piece, we've got some big news here. Diego Luna speaks. Diego Luna sat down with Deadline and shared some interesting quotes about the upcoming 12-episode series of Andor. That little line was snuck into this Deadline article. I'm not 100% sure if we've gotten confirmation of that before. I want to say I feel like we have heard that 12 episode number before, but regardless, it's confirmed in this Deadline article that it is going to be, in fact, 12 episodes for the Andor series. Now, I want to read his specific quotes, and then I'll open it up to the panel, open it up to the floor to share their thoughts. The first quote is, "You'll definitely see familiar faces. I can tell you about this project like no other because I can't spoil the ending if you've seen Star Wars Rogue One already. No matter what I say, I can't ruin the ending." That was the big first quote. Second quote, "To be honest, it's been such a blessing to do this job and to do it under these circumstances. I had the chance to work with a team that I couldn't be more proud of and admire more. It's a hardcore moment to be out there shooting, and we were really lucky. We're done with the shooting now and getting it ready for audiences to see." All right, that was the second key quote. And then the third and final key quote, "While I can't say much, what I can tell you is that the experience was literally a transformation for me. It's something that I really wanted to do and that I thought I was not going to be able to do. I'm more than happy." So obviously Diego is super stoked to be back in this role, and I'm super stoked to, in fact, eventually see this series. Let's open it up here with Jacob. What do you make of hearing those three quotes? What really stood out to you as I was reading those quotes from Diego Luna?
Okay, so first I automatically went to trying to guess which familiar faces we're gonna see.
Agreed.
I think we'll probably see K2SO.
You think so?
What you think that's?
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk, the actor, or the voice actor and portrayal, he was the actor as well,
Yeah.
has come out to say that he's not in season 1. Now, we don't know if that's a misdirect or not. Could
Okay.
very well be a misdirect. You
Yeah.
never know. But it did kind of seem like he was being legit. But who knows? We could. We could.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the familiar face that is most likely to be seen. However, that third quote is something I want to focus on for just a second, where he says, he said, "While I can't say much, what I can tell you is it's an experience that was a transformation for him." And he also mentioned it's something he really wanted to do. And I believe that is a hint, because in previous interviews, Diego Luna has said, after, especially during Rogue One's, what is it called when they go out on the road to talk to all the news people?
Press tour.
Yes, on the press tour for Rogue One, he says, someone asked him, "What's one character in Star Wars you'd like to meet that you haven't met?" And he says, "Oh, Jabba. I want to meet Jabba the Hutt."
I
And
never heard
then
that quote.
He follows that up with, "I want to touch Jabba," which I think is kind of weird, but I mean, that's fine. I mean, and I get it, because yeah, if you can meet somebody in Star Wars, who would it be? You meet Jabba the Hutt, you bring back something that's so iconic. And let's not forget, Book of Boba Fett was teased to us at the end of Mandalorian season 2, where none other than, well, technically it was Bib Fortuna's palace, but it's Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard to just, all right, we've already got the set, we've got the volume, let's just throw Jabba in there and let's have something, and we've already gotten some teases about Book of Boba Fett going back in time.
Sure.
And I think it just makes sense. Hey, share the set for a day and, let Jabba be there. So I'm hoping one of those familiar faces is Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's what I would really personally like to see. Let Diego Luna fulfill that dream of his, along with, let's bring back Puppet Jabba the Hutt. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, I want to throw a name out there, as far as I think this is probably going to be a very easily, and if not already confirmed, I feel like this may be confirmed already, but Mon Mothma, that actress, I believe there was a report that she was signed on to be in this show, so I fully expect to see her. That's a familiar face. Potentially, why am I blanking on his name? Bail Organa, potentially
Bail
him.
Organa, yeah.
Do we see Vader? I don't know. I mean, it's possible. It makes sense.
I feel like we could.
But who
I feel
knows?
like we can see Vader.
Gavin, what are your thoughts on Diego Luna and just potentially Andor? What this series means to you?
I mean, honestly, I've been really looking forward to it. I really liked his character within Rogue One. Like, I really liked his character. He was, to me, he had the best character development, and that's really weird to say, because the main character, Jen had such a good character, like if storyline wise from beginning to end. But Andor had a really cool. He was like the median for like K2SO being the comedy, and then Jen Arso being the absolute like, I'm going to go through with this. Just her entire attitude. and I feel like if they're going to do this show and it's going to be in 12 episodes, it's going to be a lot like Mando, but I want them to have more elements of stuff from like Solo, because like that train part in Solo, whenever they're on that monorail, I feel like if they added stuff like that with Andor, it would be really cool. That's just going through my head.
No, I agree. I think, I don't know. I don't want to say something that's completely wrong, but I want to say at some point, people have thrown out the genre of like a spy kind of vibe with Andor.
Espionage and things like that are supposed to be all over the place.
Yeah, so I could very much see that go down. Now, that does kind of transition to maybe the question that I had here in their notes is, how do we feel about this series being the longest live-action series to date with 12 episodes? For me personally, that excites me because I think there's a lot to this Andor character to dive into. I mean, tons of background things that are out there, and this time frame of the galaxy, it feels like we've explored it a lot, but there's so much more. And you know, something I'm really excited for is I hope they make the Rebel Alliance look a little dirty in this series. Like, give it a little twist a little bit and just kind of show how ugly war can get. Jacob, what do you think?
I would agree.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that too.
My bad there, DJ.
Go ahead. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, I mean, I totally want to see like the intelligence, like espionage, sabotage, kind of facet of the rising conflict during this time between the Empire and these different groups of people that are like starting to form a rebellion.
Yeah,
I want to see that.
It'd be cool. Okay, any final thoughts from the Foster crew over there?
Well, I was just going to throw in that Rebels is one side of the rebellion where it was very lighthearted. They made, supply mission runs.
Until the end.
Yeah, pretty much until the end. It was all supply mission runs. And to think that Andor could be the flip side to that coin makes sense. And I'm kind of with you, Jacob, on that. And Caleb, you too. Let it get dirty. Let it be kind of gritty and kind of real. You got anything you want to add on that? No. All right.
Really.
We're good over here. That's all we got.
All right, fair enough, Jacob.
Fair enough.
One more thing I want to say is the way that he said that he can't spoil the ending sounds to me like it'll all tie in to Rogue One a lot.
Well, that's if we only get one season. Is this just a limited series, or we've been already told we're getting a season 2, haven't we?
Well, Alan Tudyk saying that his character is planned to come in a later season makes you think, okay, if season 1's successful, they will green light further seasons. So It seems like they have that as an opening if it's successful, but I do kind of have a feeling that it also does come to a conclusion itself, though, in the fact that if they don't feel like they should do a second season, it still feels like the story was told.
Okay, that works for me.
Okay. Sweet. All things Star Wars works for me, baby.
Always.
All right, let's get to that next news piece here. We've got Star Wars Galaxy of Sounds. This thing kind of sneaked up on us. Star Wars Galaxy of Sounds is now streaming on Disney Plus. Now, for me personally, just to share my experience, I was typing the show notes. I was getting everything ready last night, and in the background, I was watching and listening to Galaxy of Sounds, and I gotta say, I was pretty enamored. Like, I was feeling it. It helped me as far as getting those notes typed up and put on screen there, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, here is, I guess, the official, again, synopsis for all of those listeners out there that are not fully aware of what this is. Star Wars Galaxy of Sounds explores the ambiance of a galaxy far, far away through the themes such as wonder, excitement, oddities, and more. Be immersed in the hum of Coruscant at golden hour, listen to the light side of the Force as Rey connects to past Jedi, and observe booming lightsaber duels. Experience the nostalgic sounds of Star Wars from across the franchise. Now, these are 7 minutes a piece, and I think when me and you, DJ, kind of talked about this project being out there, I want to say I kind of predicted that it would be an ambiance kind of setup where it's something you throw on in the background while you're just trying to get in your Star Wars vibes.
Yeah.
And I love this thing, man. I foresee myself playing this many Wednesday nights when I'm getting show notes ready for Mando talk.
Yeah, I was a little like, okay, so first of all, anything new Star Wars is good for me. I just want to throw that out there. However, on that episode when we first found out about Galaxy of Sounds, I was like, oh, I really hope this is like a behind the scenes with interviews with like Matt Wood and Ben Burtt. Like that would have made me so stoked. However, even though it wasn't that, you're right. Like it mellowed me out almost kind of like, I felt like I was listening to like lo-fi music.
Yes.
It was very strange. Like as I'm watching it and seeing, I mean, the description for the show is literally what it is. I mean, it could not be a more perfect spot on description.
Yeah.
So as you're sitting there watching it and you're just kind of soaking in all the sounds, it's amazing. I don't remember which episode of those 5 or 6 it was, but there's a sequence where they just throw in all the lightsabers.
Yes.
Like it's like everything at once. And they go from, it's that beeping of the elevator in Mandalorian season 2's ending. And then it transitions to Luke coming out of the elevator, slash him, and then boom, Rogue One Vader. And I was like, they know they did it on purpose. And I got so started. I was watching it at home, and God bless my wife sitting next to me, totally unaware of what I'm doing, does not even care what I'm doing. And that happens, and I go, oh, they did it. And she's like, what are you doing? And so I was like, sorry. Like I got really excited about it. And I was very stoked during that particular sequence, but all of it was very like relaxing. If like you want Star Wars to relax you, Galaxy of Sounds is perfect for that. Yeah.
No, I agree. And I agree with the Rural Farm Boy in the chat. He said, need to use headphones for Galaxy of Sounds.
Absolutely.
Absolute truth there, my man. Gavin, have you had a chance to check this out, or is this something that, you as a Star Wars fan necessarily need or really check out?
Well, specifically for me, I mean, y'all know from the last episode I was on here, I love music, especially in Star Wars. And so seeing and it's not necessarily sounds, like it's raining here right now, and I'll sleep to rain sounds sometimes, and that just depends on whether or not I need a good night's sleep.
Sure.
But we all need a good night's sleep.
But I mean, I feel like maybe I could switch over to something like this based on what y'all are talking about.
Yeah, it's perfect to fall to sleep.
And I love lo-fi music, so I mean that's a given.
Yeah, me too.
No, it's good. There are some sounds though that made me want to run through a brick wall though. I will say that. Like there's some that get you excited and get you pumped, but then there's also some that mellow you out. I think the one that got me pumped was the lightsaber one that you mentioned. Like, let's go to war. Let's go.
It's lightsabers. I mean, I'm ready. It's that TikTok sound. I want to go to war. I want a lightsaber. Like it's kind of how I felt watching it.
Yeah.
And I think that most people probably felt the same way when they watched it.
Sure.
And you probably, if you haven't watched it yet.
What, Galaxy Sounds?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
I'm calling you out.
Well,
okay.
I just found out about it today.
I have a feeling that Jacob hasn't seen it either.
No,
he's shaking his head. No,
we know why they're here tonight.
Yeah,
they're here to talk.
We know. The listeners know. Everybody knows. They're here to talk about visions and anime and all that good stuff. All right, Jacob, do you have any thoughts on it though of Galaxy of Sounds?
Is this like ambient music or?
No, it's more so ambient Star Wars.
So
effects,
it's like the
sounds.
Scores. It's like the
scores.
scores.
It's just sound effects.
There's no scores.
Okay.
No, it's all just sound effects.
Yeah.
Sound effects.
Yes.
But put in a ambient.
Mood setting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
So there's just there isn't melody.
No.
Is there?
No.
It's just background, like the.
It's like whale noises.
Okay. Yeah, like that. Is it like that?
You just said it's like whale noises.
Dune Sea, then it would be like banthas, doing their.
Yes, 100%, 100%. Yes,
that's exactly what it would be.
I think my favorite one, if they had something like that, would be like the Force Moon of Endor, but with the sounds of the speeder bikes through the woods.
That's in there.
That's in there.
Spots.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's in there.
Okay.
A couple spots.
Okay.
Just check it out.
Once you watch it, you'll know. You'll know. If you're listening or watching and you haven't done yourself the favor of listening or watching Galaxy of Sounds, you need to, because it's one of those things. It's like, oh, perfect. You need it to maybe go to sleep. I did it today at work. I had it on my other screen working and typing out different stuff, and I had it playing, and I was like, I am so relaxed and concentrated right now.
Yeah.
I feel like I could write a book.
Admittedly, I was able to get through the show notes in record time, if I'm being completely honest.
There you go. There you go. Speaking of books,
Ooh,
our next news piece.
Let's get to
Did
this
you guys see
next
Paul
news
Blart
piece,
go by
man.
on a Segway?
Dude, that was a great
crazy.
segue. It was great.
I mean, it was incredible. The Book of Boba
Gavin's
Fett
got
drops his
that.
first poster. He
Gavin's
hates
got
it.
that
He
that
hates it.
look of man, my older
That is
brother.
my favorite. How do you not make that joke?
Why would you
It's
make that
perfect.
joke? No.
No, we're moving on.
All right, let's move on.
I'm gonna take this piece if that's okay with
that's
you.
fine
man.
with me, man.
The Book of Boba Fett drops its first poster and reveals that the series will begin streaming on December 29th on Disney Plus. Where else are you gonna find fantastic Boba Fett content?
Sure.
Maybe in Legends, but specifically live action on Disney Plus. So, current official synopsis. So I'm just going to run it down for us real quick. The Book of Boba Fett is a thrilling Star Wars adventure. Finds legendary bounty hunter Boba Fett and mercenary Fennec Shan navigating the galaxy's underworld when they return to the sands of Tatooine to stake their claim on the territory once ruled by Jabba the Hutt and his crime syndicate. Fantastic. I mean, as far as that, I could see that in yellow letters scrolling up a starry background.
Oh, yes.
I mean, perfectly.
Absolutely.
And when we think about Boba Fett, you know, and that image says it all. I mean, he looks incredible. I mean, him sitting atop that throne. And I want to also point out that his finger is on the trigger.
Yes, it is.
He's like, I'm aware of who I am and I'm aware of what might happen. It's fantastic. So as we're looking at this, what are our thoughts on the poster? I want to hit Jacob up first. I think, Jacob, we need to hear what you have to say about Boba Fett. And before I do that, Rural Farm Board told you to watch out because the Mandalorian's right behind you and he might sneak up on you. So be careful. No, but anyway, what do you think about the Book of Boba Fett and what we've got so far from this image?
Man, it looks like so much of who his character is, you know. What more can I say, you know?
Yeah.
It looks so much like who Boba Fett is. He's in... You know, literally, what more can I say?
Well, I'll just say...
Just totally speechless. I love it.
Weirdly enough, I'll be honest, when I saw that poster, I was a little speechless. I was like, oh my goodness, this is totally random.
And it looks good, too.
I was not expecting this. It's a great shot. And admittedly, I mean, there's not a ton to take away, but it still gives you those chills and those feels that Boba Fett is coming. The Boba Fett that we saw destroy Stormtrooper helmets is coming, and we're going to see a full series focused in
And
on
those
him
2 TIE
wrecking
fighters.
havoc.
Oh, yeah.
Is that poster a photo or is it like painted by somebody?
That's a good question.
It looks like an artist, you know, pencil type drawing, but
It looks like a portrait.
I mean, you
awesome.
never know. You never know with these things. They can do just about anything to make these things look legit. Well, Gavin, what did you have to say about it?
To me, that poster kind of reminds me of how, like, the difference between Boba Fett in the original trilogy and now, it's really different. I mean, of course, they're different actors, but like, you see him from like a skinny perspective, and now he's kind of bigger, and now he's on the throne. To me, that's kind of like Thor from like Avengers all the way to the last movie, where he's like big.
So like you're saying like he's big, but he can still like chop you in half with an axe.
Yes.
Yes.
Or a weed eater.
Or a weed eater? What?
That's what that's what his claw, his weapon in the Mandalorian season 2 always reminds me of, is a weed eater.
Oh, the gaffy stick.
Yes, the gaffy stick.
I was like, what are you talking about?
I thought you would get that reference, man. We've talked about that before.
I did. I just forgot. I was like, we're talking about Thor. What do you mean? It looks
No,
like a
okay,
weed eater?
look,
It's
man.
clearly an
Obviously,
axe.
look, Blue Harvest Bricks knows it. We're rednecks. We hit people with weed eaters around here.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you might. You keep that up there by that Mason-Dixon line. You can keep that. Oh, man. Well, Book of Boba Fett is going to be fantastic. Now, what are our thoughts on this December 29th release date?
100% in response to Hawkeye, 100%. Because I
Yeah.
think that I still think they're not ready to stack new Marvel and and Star Wars content on Disney Plus. I don't think they're ready to have them releasing simultaneously yet. Now,
The world can't handle it.
No, it can't. It can't.
can't.
It cannot at all. And I think right now, while Disney Plus is still slowly trying to take that #1 streaming platform spot away from Netflix, I think they want to stagger the releases to continue to make people want to come over if they have not. Those are just my thoughts. That's why I think we're getting that release date. I will say, you know, I probably would have been bummed had I heard about this without getting a poster, but once I saw the poster and it said December 29th, I was like, okay, it doesn't matter. It looks cool. I can't wait to see it whenever we actually get to see it. Those are my thoughts on it.
What do you have to say, Gavin?
Just about it coming out? Or
what about the release date? And not to mention, you've got some friends in the chat.
Yeah, David, thanks for dropping in, man. I didn't even send a link to you. I'm glad you're here.
Wow. Just didn't even send a link.
Well,
Thanks,
I didn't
David.
send it to my, yeah.
Well,
But-
thank you, David, for being here, and a shout out to the Brewer High School drumline, because I know that's why you're here. But anyway, as far as the 29th the date goes, it's basically New Year's. I mean, rock in the new year with some new Boba Fett.
Said December 29th, right?
Yeah, but it's basically.
I mean, that's a good Christmas gift.
Yeah,
It's a little late. But
I mean,
I'll take it.
If your parents don't get you anything, just ask for Disney
ask for
Plus.
Disney Plus.
Subscription. So I mean, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
Jacob,
Well,
what are your
and then the
thoughts? What are
Can't
your
wait
thoughts?
to see it. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I can't either.
Well, then we've got this final little thought here. Does this poster release change our opinion on when we could see a trailer? And for me, you know, you're right, Caleb, in our show notes, you said those two things usually coincide together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with it's still coming out Disney Plus Day. What do you think, Gavin? When do you think we're going to get that trailer?
Oh, yeah. Since we talked about it last week, that's all I could think about for a while. I'm not even joking. It's just like the trailers, just things we're going to get in the future.
But do you have
excited.
an idea? Like, do you think it's going to affect how and when the trailer is going to come out? Or do you think it's going to come out on Disney Plus Day like we've previously speculated?
Yeah, Disney
Okay.
Plus Day for sure.
So we're on the same page over here. What about you guys?
I'm the same way. Like I said, typically these two things do go together, but I think that was just okay, here's the release date kind of announcement, and that was it. I do think we're not going to get a trailer for Boba until Disney Plus Day, and admittedly, again, I think I have voiced it before that I wanted a trailer before then, but I am okay with it now that I got this poster, because that just it got me going enough to feel like I can wait until November 12th on that Disney Plus Day. What about you, Jake?
It's not Legends.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Okay. We've got one other final news piece to hit before we get to our Star Wars Visions discussion. But like I've said previously in the past, please let us know what you think of all of these news pieces we've hit so far. And specifically, let us know what you thought of that Book of Boba Fett first poster, if you will, and first look of Boba in the Book of Boba Fett. Let us know what you thought of it. Let us know what you think of the December 29th release date. We would love to hear your opinions. But kind of along that same thread is our next news piece about the upcoming year for Star Wars. And from the Hollywood Reporter, it was revealed that Lucasfilm plans to release 11 shows on Disney Plus in the next few years, beginning with, obviously, the Book of Boba Fett. They're counting that as part of those 11. Here's the direct quote from the Hollywood Reporter article. It says, "The Book of Boba Fett will be the second live-action Star Wars series to debut on Disney Plus. The streamer also has a limited series centered on Obi-Wan Kenobi in the works, along with 2 other Mandalorian spin-offs, Ahsoka and Rangers of the New Republic. All told, Disney plans to air 11 Star Wars series in the next several years." Now, I want to pause there for a brief moment. A few months ago in a Hollywood Reporter article, it was mentioned that Rangers of the New Republic is no longer in production. But here, in this new Hollywood Reporter article, it's including it in the list of upcoming Mandalorian spinoffs. I don't know if there's something there. I don't know if I'm reading too much in between the lines, but maybe Hollywood Reporter is getting word that that project is back in production slowly and steady. And when I say production, I don't mean shooting. I just mean like rewriting the script potentially for all the things that went down with that spinoff. But anyway, real quickly, I'll share my thoughts before I open it up to everybody. I personally think, I put it in the notes, I expect 2022 for Star Wars to be very much so like Marvel was this past year on Disney+. Like, what I'm thinking is that the Book of Boba Fett's going to wrap up in February. Andor Kenobi will run from March to July. The Bad Batch Season 2 from August to October, and then that'll get us ready for The Mandalorian Season 3 to finish out the year. Like, it's going to be from start to finish, in my opinion of Star Wars shows on Disney+. I'll go ahead and pause there. First of all, let's go with Jacob first. What do you think of the amount of shows that Lucasfilm is currently planning to release on Disney+?
That is a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a lot all at once that we hear about, just dropped on us. You said 11 shows
In the next few years,
yeah,
correct.
That's a lot.
Still, yeah, definitely a lot.
They better get busy, get some creatives, get some creative people on that because
They got him. They got him. All right, DJ, what do you think?
I'm gonna kick it over to Gavin actually.
Okay.
So with a lot of these new shows, like the only ones I really want to talk about are one, Ahsoka. Go Ahsoka.
He's repping the shirt again.
Yeah.
And Rangers of the New Republic. See, I originally, whenever I saw that and I saw like the Acolyte logo, when I saw those looked extremely interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, after watching Mando Part 2 or Chapter 2, whatever you want to call it, after watching that, it really reminded me of whenever they were in the like ice planet. I don't remember where that was. With all the spiders, that weird, creepy episode.
Yeah.
They had that X-Wing guys come in, those Rangers, and I feel like that's kind of the kind of show we're gonna get is those kind of guys, Rangers of the New Republic, because in my mind, I feel like New Republic is after Episode 6, and so that's what I'm assuming that's what that's gonna be like.
Yeah. I think it's been confirmed to take place after Episode 6. But back to what you said a second ago, Caleb, about it was once said, hey, it's not happening, and now the Hollywood Reporter again is saying, hey, it's still, they're still working on it. For me, it makes the most sense to bring in one of those two guys, like you said. Of course, one of those guys was none other than Dave Filoni.
Right.
But the other guy, I don't remember the actor's name. I think his first name is Paul. Right. Anyway, he's from a TV show called Kim's Convenience, and they brought him in to do Mandalorian Season 2. And what's crazy is he was the first voice we heard in the first trailer for Season 2 last year, and that Razor Crest, stand down. It's that guy. And it's kind of hard not to hear that and not think, man, I want to see some more X-Wings and some things like that. And I think he would be the perfect person within the Mando verse to go ahead and say, hey, yeah, let's go ahead and throw this guy in there and give him a TV show. If not him, I'd like to see Iden Versio Front 2's gameplay and make a transition over, because that actress whose name I cannot pronounce for the life of me, it's Gina or something like that, but I can't say her last name. I cannot pronounce it.
Shout out to Duke really quick. Duke, you're welcome.
Paul Sung Hung Lee is the actor who played in one of the X-Wing pilots.
That name.
Okay, we're not getting TV shows; we're just getting content. And I think there's a difference there.
Well, I do think, though, that with this article, I think they are implying legit TV shows. But you could be right, though. I mean,
I see it just like how we've been getting these random little things, and they're fun, but they're not like something that builds the world. It's stuff I've already seen, just in a different, from like a helicopter, basically. That's all it is.
Sure.
But anyway,
we'll see.
I mean, if it's 11 more, great. I'm fine with it. Just give me the Star Wars content, because either way, I'm going to watch it. And I expect 2022 to be the year of Star Wars. I mean,
it'll be the
next 1977. That's what it'll be.
Yeah, it's going to be a big year for Star
Dang.
Wars this upcoming year, and it's going to be a big next several years, according to this Hollywood Reporter article that's indicating that they'll be releasing more and more Star Wars shows on that platform, and rightfully so, because it's been extremely successful. It's launched that streaming platform to a very successful number 2 in the world at this point as far as streaming platforms go.
I think so.
If it's not number 2, it's definitely number 3, and it's crazy how fast Disney Plus has climbed that ladder. But what is also equally crazy is the fact that we got an anime Star Wars television show. And
Let's go.
this week we are going to do now our part 2, and we're going to wrap up Star Wars Visions with episodes 6 through 9. And yes, we do have Jacob and Gavin, who are the anime experts. That is not myself or DJ. They're going to probably make me feel stupid whenever I say some things, or make me feel like I have no clue what I'm talking about. But nonetheless, let's
I am
do this
no
thing.
expert.
Are
man.
y'all, Gavin?
I'm no expert.
Gavin,
I've
just
seen like the tip of
Yes.
the iceberg. Seriously.
okay, fair enough. But
Stop underselling yourself.
No, seriously. There's so much anime out there
Oh yeah,
that
he's
I've
not
just
wrong.
never seen. I don't even know about, you know.
Sure. But I do want to start this with our experts here. And again, those of you that haven't seen Vision episode 6 through 9, we are going to get into spoilers like here in the next 10 seconds. But if you don't care, then still stick around. You know, it's
Please-
all
please
good.
stay, yes.
Please stay with us. We're just going to have fun. But let me start with our expert, Gavin. Overall, what are your impressions on the last 4 episodes compared to our part 1 episodes that we looked at last week? Just what are your general thoughts on episodes 6 through 9 before we dive into these episode by episode?
Honestly, I'm pretty sure everyone thought this as soon as they watched the last 4 episodes. They probably weren't as good as the first 5. I'm just going to come out and say that they probably weren't as good or what people were expecting for the first 5. But I really enjoyed the Obi-Wan episode, and the Elder was good. It was a lot shorter than I wished it would have been, but it was good. What was that one? Oh, Lop and Ocho. I loved Lop and Ocho, but that's just me as more of the anime side of it. I'm not sure if anyone else on here probably liked the Star Wars side of it, but I really liked the anime side. And then the last
animation in
episode,
that one was
yeah.
beautiful.
Is
Yes.
Lop and Ocho the one with the rabbit?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Akikira,
I don't know.
is that what that last episode is?
Sure.
I couldn't pronounce that name.
Yeah.
Okay. So that one, I just finished watching it for the second time. There wasn't really much of a huge takeaway from it. It was kind of just like a few chapters from a book you just read,
Mm-hmm.
like at the end of the book, and then it just stopped. But we'll get into the actual like show parts now if one of y'all wants to take it.
My bad. I just totally threw his mic across the room.
You're good.
For me, my overall thoughts as far as these last few episodes go, I wish I'd watched them like yesterday or today because my memory's kind of at this point. But from what I remember watching last week, I was so excited after our show last Thursday that I think I watched them the next day, like that afternoon. And so I was like, I really want to finish these out. I thought they were all great, but I mean, I say that I think they were all great as far as like style and everything else goes. But did y'all happen to hear that lightning bolt?
Yeah,
that
we
just
did,
hit
man.
right
It
up?
sounds like there's TIE fighters blasting y'all or something.
Dude, that actually like scared me. I'm not gonna lie, because it was like right here. There's a window right next to me on my left, and
Yeah.
it was loud. But anyway,
If it shatters the window,
We'll let you
I will
know.
keep going.
I won't. I'm out. No, but I'm just gonna put it at this so we can move on to you guys. It was good. There were elements of a couple of them that I absolutely hated. Just gonna be real honest. But that's just how it goes sometimes.
What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it? But
Fair.
anyway, that's where I'm at. We'll get into those here in just a second.
Okay. Well, my overall takeaway is, like Gavin, I think the last 4 episodes here, for me, weren't as great compared to the first 5. And I'll use the word great because the first 5 episodes for me, it was great. I loved every single second of it. I did feel like the intense, not I don't know what word I'm looking for. The mojo that it was rolling with kind of didn't keep up to par as far as
Swagger.
continually to get bigger and bigger and bigger like those other episodes were
Right.
doing. But I still thoroughly enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I loved watching those. Again, it is great to see anime Star Wars, and I'll leave it at that. And let me pass it to our final
Yes, it is.
expert here. What are your overall impressions of episodes 6 through 9 before we get into each episode?
I love the story of TOB1 and
Yes.
the Elder. I love the story of those two.
Yeah.
I loved the animation of TOB1 and what was the one? Lop and Ocho. Yeah, I love the animation of those.
Yes.
Just how free flowing and fluid TOB1 was, and Lop and Ocho, they just had like a retro anime look to them, and I loved that.
It's a very
that's the
cinematic
kind of,
style.
yeah, that's the kind of animation that you get like out of older Studio
those
Ghibli.
old- Yes, that's what I was saying. Yes,
Yeah.
the old Studio Ghibli movies.
Yeah.
I know some of
And
these
it's
things.
beautiful.
Like My Neighbor
don't
Totoro
know.
has basically the
Yeah.
same kind of animation.
Yeah.
To me, it was also kind of like Your Lie in April or
Mm-hmm.
I just watched this other one. What was it called? I'm gonna have to remember. Y'all keep going. I
Well,
can't remember.
As far as these all have gone, they've all been great animation, and I just really want to get into our before I want to hear what you want to say, Caleb, about the overall last few episodes if you haven't already.
No,
But-
I hit that.
Yeah, so
I think you were getting struck by a TIE fighter.
I
when I was saying that.
as soon as it happened, I was like, I can't remember what I'm doing. Where am I? I
Yeah.
think I got struck by lightning, actually. No, but let's just get into that first. What is
Yeah.
the first one we're going to talk about tonight? That episode, was it 6?
Episode
TOB1.
6.
That's
TOB1.
TOB1. Yeah.
So what we'll do to drive these conversations, just like we did last week, is I'll share my big takeaways that I took as I was watching the episodes. And let's, in fact, go ahead and start with TOB1. And I can't lie, as soon as I read that or heard that, I kept thinking about Obi-Wan the whole time. But that was just me. Anyway, my big takeaways, I really liked the design of the Jedi killer. I thought he was super cool looking. I loved the battle sequence there that went down. Secondly, I loved the Force mythology content that we got in this episode. Like, the visions or the connections that TOB1 kept having. I loved those, and all the graphics that we kind of got whenever they were dueling was great. And I also loved the color lightning that was flashing in the background whenever they were dueling. I thought that was beautiful, and those are my top 3 takeaways for episode 6, TOB1. And let's just open this up to Jacob, who is nodding in aggressively nodding to maybe agreeance with those things that I just said. So what do you think? What do you think, Jacob?
No,
To those
yeah.
not watching and those listening, we were all just now aggressively shaking our heads.
Aggressive.
No, I love the story in this one. I think it pretty clearly implied that this robot had all of the memories of this Jedi's Padawan built inside of him, and that's why he was remembering being this Jedi Padawan, and even had that aspiration. And he just starts to realize that and starts to awaken to the Force as a robot, and brings life to this desolate planet.
Yeah, I knew you would love that part.
in memory of his master.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, that was
I really
cool.
liked it. I like that episode.
Okay, Gavin, what do you got?
So, given that me and DJ kind of talked about this episode before we got on here, and I mean, this was like a week ago.
Yeah.
Well, not exactly a week ago, but a few days ago. We talked about how the man and the robot kind of resembled Pinocchio.
Yeah.
So, especially whenever it comes to him being an old man and him wanting to be a real Jedi, he wanted to be a real boy. And so in his dreams, he would literally become a Jedi. And then at the end of the episode, he was finally connected with the Force enough, which is really weird. It's like he gained about 50 years of training in order to beat an Inquisitor.
It's Legends.
It's Legends.
It's Legends. So it's just, it was really cool to see that it was like like you said, it was the them bringing life back onto there to give like memory to his master. And then DJ talked about something about the ship within the show.
Yes, it was a T-16 Skyhopper. Man, Luke Skywalker's ship he plays with in his garage at Brew and Owen's house. And actually from 1997 up to now, in the background in that scene, you can actually see Luke's T-16 Skyhopper kind of sitting in the background behind C-3PO through the doorway. And unfortunately, it's not in Attack of the Clones. That would have been awesome if they just say it's still back there. But the fact that he had a T-16 Skyhopper, was, I thought, fantastic. And like Gavin said, it's just Pinocchio in Star Wars, but it's also anime. And I do like the Jedi killer at the end. I'm not sure if it's an Inquisitor or not. It definitely looks, very similar concept. And this guy,
especially in the style of the way he was animated.
Yeah, and this guy definitely, clearly heavily influenced by Darth Vader. But at the same time, I the only thing I really truly liked about this episode is when he goes around looking for something in different parts of the house. And he ends up upstairs in this, what I call the map room. And there's these depictions of other Star Wars moments all over the wall.
I caught that.
And my wife, she got out her phone and started filming me watching it because I paused it and I'm starting to look around. I'm like, that's General Grievous and that's Ahsoka and that's clearly Anakin and Obi-Wan and that's the Jedi Temple and that's an homage to that one poster where all the X-Wings fly up past. And I'm nerding out because I was so appreciative of what they put in the background. And I could honestly, I'm going to be real honest with you. I don't like this episode. This is one of those I just thought, I don't need this. And I get that with anime, it's different because the animation styles in anime, it's an umbrella with all these different things underneath it. And so for me, I was just like, I don't need Astro Boy meets Pinocchio meets Star Wars. I didn't need that. So beyond the T-16 Skyhopper and the I'm getting dark side, and sometimes we have to get dark side around here.
Sure.
But besides the T-16 Skyhopper and the map room, as I'm calling it, I won't rewatch this episode. I will. I'm glad you will. I'm glad some of us will, but and it's just not for me on this one. And that's just my hot take, I guess.
Okay.
Hey,
I don't know how else to put
to
it.
each their own. I mean, you like what you like. I mean, I was there. I was kind of there with you initially, but then when it started diving into the, like I said, the mythology of it all and the images and the animation, I was there for it. I enjoyed that story.
Yeah.
Any other final thoughts on TOB1?
Well, but did you?
His name's Toby.
Yeah.
Toby, my bad.
When I read no, his name is T-Obi-Wan, but I read it, I see Toby.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right.
Okay.
I'm like, his name's Toby.
But
Toby.
He was named, the droid was named TOB1, but did y'all catch that the Jedi Master, he had a Padawan who was named Toby, who died, and that's why he made this robot named TOB1.
I did not catch that initially.
Slim chances of me catching that, but I do recall hearing and seeing
totally
parts of this in the show.
That's pretty incredible.
I did.
Yeah, I never would have caught that, which is also him breaking the Jedi code because now he has an attachment.
Man, look, he's like the last one.
It's Legends.
It's Legends. You're right.
That's my line.
Sorry, Gavin.
Oh, man.
It's not okay.
All right. Well, overall, it seems like, we have differing takes on this one, which is fine. But I think overall it does have some cool elements for us to go revisit, except maybe DJ. But anyway.
Except me.
Let's get on to the next one.
Lame.
This next one, by far, was my favorite of the last four, and that is The Elder. And it's funny enough, it's by far my favorite of the last four, but I didn't really have too many takeaways other than I liked the master and apprentice dynamic that was going on and this brotherhood that these two were vibing with. It's kind of like Qui-Gon, kind of like Obi-Wan, kind of like Obi-Wan and Anakin, just that master apprentice type of vibe. And that's really all I took away from that episode, but I loved every single second of it, and I also loved the way that the Elder looked. Any other additional thoughts? I know there's additional thoughts. Let me open this up to outside my thoughts.
I'm going to go with, first of all, katana lightsabers all day.
Dude, those sounds.
That's freaking cool.
The sounds on that lightsaber. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I
just, so much about this episode I really, really enjoyed, because it did so much that I appreciate, because being a child of the prequels, I really just look up to this master apprentice type of relationship, and this was giving me hardcore Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan feels via Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray, the novel, which I cannot recommend enough. I mean, it is by far the best Star Wars novel I've ever read. And I haven't read that many, but of the ones I've read, that is by far my favorite. And that really gave me all those kinds of feels, brought me back to my love for Phantom Menace. I liked the idea that they were saying, oh, Sith have been gone for a long time, and that looks like a Sith ship, and oh, that old man is a Sith, and all these things. My only thing I didn't really like about it, which I'm gonna have a lot of I didn't likes tonight. I'm just gonna I'll change the background to red at some point, but I know, but I'm really pulling up that scum. Today.
Yeah,
I did. I
woke
did.
up on the wrong side of the bed.
I think I did, guys. But
you woke up and chose violence.
I did today, but at the same time, the only thing I disliked about this was that the Padawan didn't die. He lived. I thought that this story would have taken much more emotional weight if there was a sacrifice to it, because you have the villain there who very clearly is way stronger than this Padawan.
Yeah.
And if he had have actually killed him, I think I would have been like, okay, this dude needs to die. And like, he already needed to die because he's an evil villain. That's just how it goes.
He's also really old.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of it too. And I didn't mind him being old. It was just, I wished it had done something kind of different. And it's no problem. I mean, overall though, this was my favorite of these last few, in this last half, if you will. It's my favorite for sure. And really, really enjoyed it. So I'm going to open the floor back up to whoever else wants to go.
I was just going to say real quickly, sorry.
Okay.
I do think that this episode probably spoke more to people like me and DJ that aren't anime experts, but more so just are the Star Wars-y people. I think this of the four is probably the most in your face, this is Star Wars kind of story. And I think maybe that's why, at least for me and DJ, this one was our favorite of the last four.
That.
This is the most Star Wars episode.
Yeah.
For sure. In my opinion, it is. Because, I mean, the first 5 episodes, I guess the most Star Wars out of those would probably be episode 5.
Yeah.
The Ninth Jedi.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that one brought a lot of lightsaber aspect. It had the speeder, it had the speeder bikes. It had flying up to there, the robot, the opening up and him coming out of the robot. It just, I feel like it had much more Star Wars feel to it than any of the other episodes.
Agreed. That's a good take.
Yeah.
Jakob?
Jakob. Hawking up loogies again this week.
I'm trying to. I've been trying to remember. Is this the only episode that we've had that's episode 1, possibly?
Maybe.
I didn't even think about that. It's Legends.
It's Legends. Well, I think you might be onto something there, Jacob. I think it is probably the only one that predates Phantom Menace, which this one could be canon.
And it could even be Legends.
I thought you had something great and it just died.
But honestly, it could be like KOTOR. It could be like Old Republic stuff. And it could be era before Qui-Gon, at least around Count Dooku's era, whenever he was actually a Jedi. I mean, it could be that era.
Yeah.
Based on the way they talk and the way they say stuff about the Sith Order and the Jedi Order, just stuff like that.
Right. I love the fighting scenes. I love the action in that episode. Like the way that the Padawan tosses the lightsaber at the Sith and he has to react to that. but his lightning is holding the Jedi Master's lightsaber. He turns it off, and then he puts it to his chest and then turns it back on. I thought that was so awesome. I didn't expect it to go that quick, but that was a good way to make it quick, you know?
Yeah.
And another thing about this episode that I came away with is it could definitely have a sequel, because
Good call.
now they've encountered this Sith
Yes.
who claimed to not really be part of the Sith because they were destroying themselves. He was like a breakaway. But now they're like
A Ronin.
wondering, where did he come from? How was he so powerful? You know, and it could easily have a sequel trying to find answers to those questions.
I like it.
That's a good call. That's definitely a great call. And I actually kind of have that similar thought with our next episode here, and that is Lop. Is that how you say that bunny's name? Lop and Ocho. Our third episode for tonight, and I believe it's episode 8. For one, my biggest takeaway is I always like a story that expands on the idea that family doesn't necessarily mean blood. Okay, here we go. I'm Game of Thrones. Everybody knows Jon Snow. I don't want to get into spoilers. I like stories that families take in somebody and they are part of their family now. Mm-hmm. I like that idea. So I really enjoyed that aspect of this episode. Also in here, I put the emotional ending. It's always interesting whenever a sister or brotherly kind of duel happens and they go separate ways and they don't see eye to eye. It just makes me think if me and Jacob were ever like that, like how would it go down? But that'll never be the case, you know. Jacob, I'll always love you. But I also I put in here sequel. You know, I think that these two could continue to see things go down between them. So I think these back-to-back episodes here do have potential to get sequels. Those were my big takeaways with Lop and Ocho.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, agreed.
Facts.
I definitely think that this one could do with a sequel, because I know that there's so many people out there that enjoy this kind of animation style. And for me, watching it reminded me a lot of that classic anime movie Spirited Away, which is about my only anime experience. And truth be told, you know, I'm not an anime fan, you know, by like the grand scheme of things. I enjoy this because it's Star Wars, but you know, for me, this is another one of those things that I really actually enjoyed quite a bit. But my one negative thing, it's freaking Lola Bunny. There must be something in anime with rabbits I'm just missing. No. Okay. I guess not. I just didn't like that it was a rabbit, and I think it could have been better with a different alien species. Something that was more well known to Star Wars, which is probably me being
what a Trandoshan.
Well,
yeah, I would love
my
the Trandoshan.
gosh.
I would have thought that was great.
Well,
but I just didn't like the rabbit.
Farm
Everything else I loved.
Rural Farm Boy in the chat was talking about earlier when we were doing our general giveaways. He mentioned that Lop is a Leppy, which is the same race as Jackson the Green Rabbit. My only familiarity with Jackson is the toy that was released recently. I haven't seen him in anything else.
He's been in a few like comics and things like that.
It's just
Jacob's
so getting his phone
he's
out.
like, I need to look this up.
Me too.
I remember seeing it and thinking, even Jackson, I thought that is dumb. I tell people all the time, I like Star Wars, but like I like certain things within Star Wars. You know, like. Mm-hmm. An example, I don't want a plastic baby toy with Darth Vader on it. You know, I'd like an action figure, as I said at the top of the show. And so thinking about Gavin's looking at him, and it's Bugs Bunny. I mean, it's just Bugs Bunny in a flight suit. And then this is Lola Bunny with a viewfinder, and the truth be told, like I said, I liked everything about this episode except that it was a rabbit. And it takes me out of the story because rabbits are from Earth, not, you know, you don't see rabbits in Star Wars.
So funny.
It threw me
okay,
off.
so it's Legends.
I know it's Legends, but it still bugs me, and I don't want to keep being the downer tonight.
Humans
but
are from Earth.
Well, you're gonna be.
Yeah, but you know, they're already in Star Wars, so rabbits aren't. It's just weird. I don't know. It wasn't for me again.
Yeah,
and
but are rabbits that run like humans on Earth? Nah.
maybe. I don't know. Somewhere.
So this isn't really a takeaway from the episode, but it kind of alluded to me. But I mean, clearly she has some kind of connection to the Force, because I mean,
Yeah.
she can wield the lightsaber pretty decently.
She did
And,
like
I mean,
a
that-
force pull.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Lots
she did.
of great Force stuff.
She did.
With
Yeah.
no
but
training.
Do you think that she's able?
Legends.
It's Legends.
Do you think she's able to jump on her own and make those huge jumps and falls because of the Force, or do you think it's because of her being a leppy?
A rabbit? I think it's because she's a leppy.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to you two. Do you guys think it's a leppy thing, or if it's a shut up?
I said it's a leppy.
I don't know.
I said it's a leppy.
Let's go with the Force. Let's go with the Force. It's always the Force.
Okay.
It's always the Force.
Okay.
It's always the Force.
Well, I mean, Trandoshans can jump and do stuff pretty high. So I mean,
That's
like
true.
jump pretty high if they're athletic.
Gungans can also jump pretty high. We saw Jar Jar do the flip. Yeah, and then he was very instrumental in the Lego Star Wars video games.
Yeah, with the scream when he died. Oh my
Man,
gosh.
this is going down a deep hole here.
I'm
Jacob,
so
It's going down a
sorry.
rabbit trail.
Oh,
There you go.
it's going down a Leppy
Good job,
trail.
buddy.
We're
Good
talking.
job.
Jacob, what are your thoughts? Jacob, what are your thoughts on this episode?
I like it. It might be number 5 for me.
Okay. Number
Okay.
5 out of the entire thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Middle of the pack.
Yeah. Mine's top 3, but
Yeah.
Really?
I
Right
love
on.
Lapinocho. I think it's a really, really good episode.
Okay,
but that's
yeah.
also me being
Fair enough.
the more the anime side.
enough.
Yeah. I mean, that animation is gorgeous.
Oh yeah, it's
I want to
fantastic.
keep looking at that.
All right.
Yes.
Well, we have one final episode to discuss, and I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce this final episode, so help me out if I butcher this.
Akakiri.
Akakiri? Okay.
Or Akikiri, either one.
Okay.
Akakiri. It's
Either
Akakiri.
Either one. Big takeaways for me with this final one is something, and I verbally said this out loud as me and Jake were watching it. I loved the little storm graphic that they had, like the black kind of rain or whatever it was when that storm was going through as they were going up the mountain or whatever. I loved that visual. But then outside of that, my only other takeaway was it definitely gave me obviously Padme and Anakin vibes as far as him going to the dark side to save the person that he loved. And other than that, though, I do kind of have to say, for some reason, maybe it's just because it was the last episode, I was wanting more. Maybe only because I mentally thought, oh, it's the last one. They're about to full send. It's going to be great. It's going to be epic. But with that said, though, I mean, it is, in a sense, a Star Wars story. That is, at its core, what George Lucas was telling when he did the prequels. So you can't sit here and say, oh, that story is not Star Wars whatsoever, because that is Anakin and Padme, just with anime form. Those were my general takeaways with this episode. I was a little disappointed, I guess, only because I wanted it to end with a bang, just like it started with a bang with that Ronin episode. Those were my thoughts.
Well, I'll go ahead and go next, I guess. I really liked this story quite a bit. You know, as far as the last episode goes, yeah, it ends kind of a bummer, but, you know, fast forward to back to 2005, or I say rewind is what I should say. You know, we at the time were not expected to get any more Star Wars stories. So to see Revenge of the Sith end kind of not necessarily on a low note, because, you know, it did end on a high note in that it connects to episode 4. But at the same time, you know, it still was really good. And it's okay that it ended on kind of a low note as far as Visions goes. And so for me, the only real bad thing to me was the music. I told him it sounded like raindrops on bongos.
Which that's cool.
And I didn't like that.
I think him saying that, like, raindrops on bongos, that just sounds cool.
And that's I think the percussion player in you really coming out.
Yeah,
but
kind of.
And I play drums too, but like in a very different sense than what he does.
But
And so it just, to me, I was like, It's the only thing I didn't like. However, I will say the animation style I thought was really cool. Very reminiscent of the OG Clone Wars episodes. The Tartakovsky Clone Wars I thought was great.
Yeah.
That's exactly okay. So I was
Go ahead.
literally just going to talk about those two things. So it looked exactly like the original Clone Wars series to me, and so especially with Anakin, and like the way Anakin looks versus this Jedi in this episode, and you were literally just correlating him to Anakin and Padme, right? And so it's a really weird correlation though, because no one considered that to be anime. It was just a cartoon.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, it really looks like anime.
It does. Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Facts. Well, I do think that episode 2 could get a sequel. I mean, we could see that character's, I don't remember his name, the Jedi that ends up going to the dark side. We could see, his journey going to that dark path. But we'll see. We'll see. But that is Star Wars Visions. And I guess, in a sense, to kind of close this out, as a whole, by far, in my opinion, Star Wars Visions was very, very, very successful.
Yes.
Again, bringing the anime style to Star Wars. I think one of my first tweets about it, it's just seamless. Like, these two go hand in hand, and I'm surprised it took this long. I'm thankful, though, that Lucasfilm Disney ended up green-lighting this project and allowing it to happen, and I hope they do continue to do it, because I do think thematically there are so many, like, key lessons to be learned that they can tell in anime form that they can't necessarily tell in other forms, and I think that's probably my biggest appreciation for this series is it touched on so much like real world kind of things that just kind of hit at you, but you don't really necessarily think about it because you're watching it in this fun, cool anime form. But whenever you sit back and really dive into it, you realize how serious these kind of shows can get. And I loved that about Star Wars Visions, and I do think we will eventually get more because I do think they're going to see that it was a success. Let's go to DJ next. What are your final thoughts on Star Wars Visions as a whole?
I want season 2. I mean, I know tonight I was kind of the downer over here, but at the same time, all of these stories, I think all of them honestly could have a sequel. And while Lucasfilm is bringing in anime into Star Wars, and like, as you put it, these two things are meant to be together. They're meant to be, really kind of like a marriage, because it's no secret George Lucas has pulled from Japanese culture in his to be influenced to do Star Wars. Not to mention Mark Hamill lived for a time in his childhood in Japan. And, we got to think, okay, there's even more influence that we may not realize that is into Star Wars that Mark Hamill could have put into that. And who knows where else. So for me, looking
it's like all the way down into like the philosophy of Star Wars.
Yeah.
It really is. It's very much in the DNA of Star Wars. And so for me to see it come into this animated form, to me, makes all the sense in the world. And I think it's perfect. And I can't wait until really do hope there's a season 2.
And to add on to that Mark Hamill thing, he was actually in anime. He was also in Gavin. He was also in the animated Batman series as Joker.
Yeah.
But he was in one of the Studio Ghibli movies called Castle in the Sky.
Really?
He was the main villain.
I didn't know that.
He has one of the best voice acting jobs ever in that movie. And I love listening to Mark Hamill's voice, especially whenever it comes to this
absolutely.
stuff.
He has a great voice for animation. So as far as it goes for me, Visions is fantastic. I can't wait for more stories. I hope they do more stories. And it would mean, I think, a lot to a lot of people if they did.
Yeah. All right, Gavin, what are your thoughts, overall final thoughts on Star Wars Visions?
I agree that all of them could have a sequel, but what I want them to do is I want the good ones to have a sequel. Episode 1, 5, 8, and maybe the Bride. I can't remember what that episode's called.
Village Bride.
Oh, the Village Bride.
Yeah.
That one could also have a sequel.
Love that.
Those were the best episodes. Let alone to have a sequel, let alone out of the series.
Yeah.
To me, they were, and so I really, really hope we get a season 2.
Yeah, I kind of like what you said, though. Like, I don't necessarily want us to restrict ourselves with only telling sequels with the stories we've seen. I want them to give us new stuff too in this next and upcoming season. I don't want them to feel like, oh, we have to, match episode 1 with our first one in season 2, match episode 2 with our second one in season 2. I don't want them to feel like they have to do that because I do like the freshness, the newness that this first season brought us. So I agree with you, Gavin. Make a sequel for the ones that deserve it, and then just let those one-offs be great in their own one-off form and tell some new stories. Jacob, what are your final thoughts on Star Wars Visions?
I'm so glad that we got this. Yes. So glad. And I'm going to keep watching it just for the stories and for the animation and just to look at for my own artistic uses, inspiration and all that. And I'm so glad that we got this, for you and DJ, and for all of us, just so we could see what Star Wars could be in this kind of,
Platform.
art form,
medium. Yeah.
And I'm so glad that we could see each episode in its own sort of, art. And so many different stories that are new, and we got so much good new contact. It could be Legends, but it's still so good, and
Legends.
I want to I want to see more, just like everyone here, and I'm sure just like so many other people out there. So grateful that we got this, though.
Yeah. Dude, you summed it up perfectly. Well, listen, first of all, I'm so appreciative of Jacob and Gavin doing this with us because, like I've said before, I don't think we get that anime expertise from me and DJ. Me and DJ probably would have spent, I don't know, one episode talking about all 9, but I'm glad that you two were here to help us dive deeper into the stories and that platform and that artistic style some more. But with all of that down and out, again, remember, subscribe on YouTube if you haven't. We have a lot of fun on that platform.
Sellout moment.
And check us out on
Subscribe
social
and like.
medias at Mando Talk, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And also Discord. Click that link that's in the description. If you want to come and have some more chats about Visions and just Star Wars in general, we would love to have you. So let me pass this to Gavin. Any final thoughts that you just want to say about, these past 2 episodes of talking about Star Wars Visions?
Specifically these past 2 episodes?
Or just anything, man. Just any final thoughts you want to say.
I want an album of the music that they used for, or at least the OPs for the like all of these episodes.
Okay.
Yeah. I want more music, and that's just me. But if we could get like a legitimate intro for Star Wars Visions without just being a little bit of the brass intro with the lightsaber sound effect in the back, I would love to see an actual like music side of this, because I've seen several like openings for Star Wars, like especially A New Hope. There's a dude out there, I can't remember his name, but he did an entire reiteration of the trailer for A New Hope, but in anime. And it looks and sounds fantastic.
No, I want it to
be good.
Dude, I want it to be like the opening of an anime show. I would love that.
All right, well, Jacob, anything else you want to tell the Mando Talk audience as we head out of here this week?
I just love Star Wars Visions.
Fair enough. Fair enough on that right there. All right, DJ, any final thoughts from you?
Very glad that we were able to do this again with our brothers. And shout out to my brother that's not here, Brock, who's chilling at home, I imagine, just being 13. I don't know what 13-year-olds do anymore.
He plays Fortnite.
Hey, there's no shame in playing Fortnite, all right? Maybe for some, not for me. But anyway, Visions has been great. And I'm with Gavin. I think a musical album will be great. I will always skip the one music piece that sounds like raindrops on bongos. But even then, I would love the rest. Shut up. I would love the rest of the music. And I think it'd be fantastic if they did that. But besides that, I have very little else to say, except just may the force be with y'all, and that's it.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate so much you three here with us, and also those of you that are listening, watching, however you're taking us in. It's very humbling. I say that all the time, but it's humbling that somebody wants to listen to our opinions on Star Wars, because there's so many great people out there that talk about this franchise, and I'm just glad that you listen to my voice as far as talking, and to DJ's voice and Gavin's voice and Jacob's voice talking about Star Wars. It's pretty incredible. And with that said, let's get out of here. We will see you next week on Mando Talk to bring you more Star Wars content. And until then, as always, we have spoken.